Good morning. Today we are working on packet number 4. Just a reminder, it is due the Tuesday before Thanksgiving, the 25th, which is the last day of the trimester. No late assignments will be accepted on this math packet. Turn it in early, turn it in on time. Get it turned in by the 25th, last day of the trimester. Cannot turn it in late. All right, our first page, D, Sarah and Tyrone ordered a pizza to share. The cost of the pizza was $10. Sarah ate less than everyone else, so D and Tyrone decided that she did not have to pay the same as they did for the pizza. They decided to have Sarah pay half of what they each paid. So what did Sarah pay for the pizza? So using that bar model that I've shown us, that whole pizza is worth that $10, right? $10 for the whole thing. We have Sarah ate less than D and Tyrone. So we have, let's say, if we break it up like this, half, D and Tyrone ate the same amount. So we have D and Tyrone. And then Sarah's is going to be less. Sarah is half of what D and Tyrone paid. So we need to figure out what numbers we add together to get to 10, where two numbers are the same and one number is half of one of those. So if we know to get to 10, we could have 5 plus 5 equals 10, but that's only 2 people. We need it to be 3 people. So we need 3 numbers that we add together to equal to 10. These 2 numbers are going to be the same. This number will be half of one of those numbers. So we can't go above that 10, it has to equal 10. You might need to guess and check some numbers. So you could say, oh, well, what if we did 5 plus 5 and half of 5 is 2.5. That equals 12.5. It doesn't equal that 10. But that's my example. These 2 numbers are the same. This number is half of it. Keeping in mind that when we add all 3 up, we need to equal 10. So you're gonna guess and check some of those numbers. 2 are the same, 1 number is half of that, like 2.5 is half of 5. So guess and check numbers that you can add together to equal your 10. Then your answer is going to be, what did Sarah pay? What is that number that's half of the other 2 numbers? So you might have to do some guess and checking with those numbers. Our next page, Bob got in an elevator. He rode up 7 floors, down 5 floors, up 3 floors, up 1 floor, and then down 2 floors. He got off the elevator at the 8th floor. On what floor did he start? There are 2 different ways you could do this. One is making a picture, right? You could say, all right, here is my elevator. I'm gonna say, let's say he starts right here. He rides up 7 floors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then he goes down 5 floors, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Then he goes up 3 floors, 1, 2, 3. He goes up 1 floor, up 1, and then down 2 floors. And when he gets off the elevator here, it's going to be the 8th floor. I need to figure out what floor did he start on. Okay, so that's one way of figuring it out. Another way is just doing this straight up math. So I'm gonna work it backwards. He got off on the 8th floor. So instead of going down 2 flights, I'm gonna go up 2 flights. Then he went up a floor, so I'm gonna go down a floor. I'm gonna do the opposite, because I'm working backwards. I'm starting where he got off at the 8th floor, and I'm gonna work it backwards. So instead of going down, I'm gonna go up. Instead of going up, I'm gonna go down, down, up, down. So you could either do the picture figuring it out, or you could do the math. You must show your work. Okay, that showing your work explains how that answer makes sense. Our next page is our 5-card challenge. Some of us had noticed that 5-card challenge was the same numbers as the last time. Okay, I'm not passing back our last packets until we're done with this packet. See if you can figure out, use PERMDAS the right way. Okay, is there a question about that? Yeah. We'll have to answer that individually, okay, not on the recording. Next, I have had a lot of people come up to me and say, well, Ms. Gambino, it's in black and white. How do I know which colors is which? Do you need to know colors on this page? Did I need to waste all of that color ink and have to staple it on my own, or could I use the black and white copier and have it stapled for me? Because we don't need to know colors. We only need to know total blocks. So find that pattern of the total blocks. Figure 1 has 1 block. Figure 2 has 6 blocks. Figure 3 has 15 blocks. Figure 4 has 28 blocks. We need to figure out what that pattern is to keep growing our pattern. So when I see things getting bigger, I always ask myself, well, is there a pattern in how they get bigger? To go from 1 to 6, I'm adding 5. To go from 6 to 15, I'm adding 9. To go from 15 to 28, I added 13. Looking at that, do I see a pattern? Can I figure out what I'm gonna add next? You're gonna follow that adding pattern as you keep going down. 5 to 9 to 13, well, it increases by 4 each time. So I'm gonna add 17 that next time. Keep following that pattern. Next page. We have our perimeter and area. Remember, for that perimeter, you need to make sure every side has a measurement for you to add up. Add up all of your sides. That's your perimeter. For the area, this is a goofy shape. I need to break it into shapes that I can work with. I broke mine into rectangles like that. I found my area of the first rectangle, my area of the second rectangle, my area of this third rectangle, and you add all 3 rectangles together to get the full area. Our next page, we have a new shape. This is a right rectangular pyramid. I need to make a net of that. If I cut up the sides and I laid it flat, what is my rectangular pyramid's net going to look like? Well, I look here and I see my bottom is a square. Or, yeah, it's a square. Right? And each side of that square is 8 feet. Then I look and see, well, I've got 4 sides coming off of that bottom. What shape are those sides? Michael? Triangles. The other measurement I have is the height up the middle of the triangle. So I need to put that on my net. The height is 16. That is important to know that it is the height because that's gonna help us with our area. Now, I've had a lot of friends who've been turning it in already. They've just added up all of the side lengths and called that surface area. Surface area is not found that way. Remember, to find surface area, you need to find the area of each of these sides. So the area of the rectangle, remember, is length times width. Length times width. The area of a triangle is 1/2 the base times the height. So we have our base is this, and our height is that 16 going up. So 1/2 of our base times our height. So we do 1/2 of the 8, and we times it by the height of 16. All 4 of these triangles are identical. So if you find it for one, you're gonna know what the other triangles' areas are. Then add up the 4 triangles and the 1 rectangle to get the full surface area. So we don't just add sides. Remember that height, as we see it going up the middle of the triangle, we need to label it that way on our net. That 16 is not that edge. 16 is the height, so it goes up the middle. We don't know what that edge length is, so we leave it blank. It's not needed to find the surface area. It's not information they gave us, so we don't have to label it. Big things to remember: area of the rectangle and the area of the triangles. Next page. Now we need to know the formula for the volume of that rectangular prism. A lot of us saw rectangular prism and we said, oh, I know that's length times width times height. But it's a pyramid. It's not that full rectangle. So because it's a pyramid, we have to divide it by 3. So a lot of us who turned it in missed that part. That formula has dividing by 3. So our calculation, we would have our length times our width times our height divided by 3. Then the volume is the answer when we put that into our calculator. Length times width times height divided by 3. That gives us our volume. That is not our answer. Remember, when we see answer, we have to answer the question. How many faces, edges, and vertices does the figure have? Faces, edges, vertices. I need a number for each of those. Remember, our face is the side. How many sides does our figure have? So the faces is the sides. The edges are those lines, and the vertices are the corners. So the lines are our edges, those dotted lines, straight lines. Our vertices, how many corners does it have? This counts as a corner. So you need to count up how many sides, how many faces. Write that number here. Count up how many edges, how many of those lines. Is the height an edge? What does that mean, Rhoda? No, it's not. That height is the middle of the triangle, the middle of the pyramid. It's not an edge. Only count the edges. So when you look at that net, that height went up the middle of the triangle. So it's not an edge. count up how many edges, and then count up how many corners for the vertices. Label them so I know. So put the F, the E, and the V, so I know what number it goes with what. And then we have one that we have to think about. It says, consider the data and answer the question for your class. Mark your answer clearly. So Math 6 says, is there a relationship between family income and SAT scores? Yes or no? And then, if so, what is it? What is that connection? So let's look at our graph. Family income is on the bottom. That's the x-axis. SAT test scores is our y-axis going up. So, is there a relationship between that family income? As the family income goes up, how much money the family has? As that goes up, what do we notice about those test scores? As the money goes up, what happens with the test scores? You need to write it out and answer that. I'm not going to tell you the answer, but you need to write it out. Okay? And that is it. Remember, if you turn it in before next week Friday, I will correct it and pass it back to you so you can make corrections, trying to get as much credit as you can on this packet. If you are watching this at home, I hope you are well, and I hope to see you soon. Have a wonderful day, and don't forget to like and subscribe.